In the previous videos, we've learned how to identify assets and how to manage and prioritize risk. Today, we go through the protect concept in the Nist framework. The idea of this is to reduce how deep cyber attacks can go into our systems as well as limit their impact. One method is to develop and implement safeguards for your system. Today, we are focusing on how access control can be used as one of these safeguards. Access control is the process of ensuring that authenticated users do not have more access to the documents and systems they are authorized for. Have you ever worked in a small company where everyone uses the same shared drive? You'll find the sales document next to the finance reports with tech documents in the next folder. It may be convenient to have all the files in the one spot for everyone to access, but all it takes is for someone to hit the delete button and all valuable data is gone. It could be a hacker or a careless employee. Access control reduces the impact of these kinds of events. Access control has two components, authentication and authorization. Authentication is the way we determine that a user is who they say they are. For example, when one of your remote employees sign into your network, how do you know it's really them, or if someone else is using their login credentials? We can use some kind of multi-factor authentication like a phone one-time password. Authorization is granting the right level of access for a user to your systems and data. For example, Judy from accounting should have access to the payroll system, handle petty cash and timesheets. This is all part of her role within the company. However, we won't give her permission to the tech drawings or source code. She is not an engineer for the company. We should identify which systems need to have controlled access and under what circumstances should access be granted. How do you pick which systems should have access control? Since every organization is different, you should base your decision on what your own organization thinks is most valuable. And this can be done by risk assessment analysis, which we've covered in the previous videos. When you're planning out how to grant the access, you need to consider these aspects. How is the user going to connect to the system? Do they need to sign in via a VPN or log into a company terminal like a bank teller? CRUD actions or CRUD. This stands for Create, Read, Update and Delete. Which users should edit documents in your company? And which users should be read-only? More interestingly, which users would you give the power to delete documents? What times should your users have access? Is it only business hours, or should they have 24-hour access? Global permissions. These are blanket rules. For example, no one should be allowed to delete all the videos for your company's YouTube channel in one go. Some privileges can be grouped together. For example, a software engineer should have access to A, B, and C software. Now it's the best time to go through the concept of least privilege when granting access to your users. This idea is to give your users only enough access to perform their job and nothing more. An example is, if you're figuring out what access to give a marketing consultant, you wouldn't give them the access to your client's database. All they need is a list of your products and their descriptions. So the take-home message here is, always be aware of who has access to which system, for which period of time, and from where the access is granted.